Hello, 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 hello. How you doing? Hope you're doing great. Yeah, I look a little bit stressed. It's because I'm not feeling 100%. I'm a little bit sick, but like I have this pain in my throat. I don't know where it's coming from. The weather is changing, allergy and all whatnot. But yeah, so I just have to do this video because if I don't, maybe I'll forget by next week. So just take the message, forget about the looks. All right. So I was talking with my friends in the US and we're just discussing like normal discussion, and like something came up about like studying in the US and also in Finland. And this friend of mine is like he has studied here in Finland right up to PhD level, and he has also worked in a university in Finland before moving to the US, and now he works as a professor in a university in the US. So we're always just discussing about some of this, you know, normal stuffs, education and stuff, because we love talking about it. And then this, came up, and I told him, I was like, I need to talk about this on my channel because there was so much that he's spilling that I didn't really know. Maybe people in the US they know about this, but I didn't know. When you're hearing from someone that has experienced both countries, then it's different. You understand? Yeah. So what we were discussing about like was just about studying, like students, like what's going on in Finland and what is going on in Europe. And we're trying to see the possibility of like linking this to the US, like how is it in the US, and the first thing he mentioned was that it is more advisable to study in Europe than the US. Um, this is just a discussion, and I really want to share this with most of you, because some of you like you have been requesting like or asking, okay, which country is better? And like I said in my last video, that when we talk about these happenings in Finland, it's just for us to let you guys know what is going on. It's not about discouraging you not to move to Finland or move to any country in Europe and study there if you have the means. My issue is you shouldn't move when you know that you're not financially stable, and if you are not ready to do some of the things that I mentioned in my previous video. So if you haven't watched my previous video, please go watch it. I'll leave a link in the description box. Now, the first thing he mentioned was that it's much more better to study in Europe than the US. And the reason was about the residence permit. And he explained that it is easy for students to move to Europe or Finland, in this case, study, and then after their study, get like their permit extended if they have a job. Whereas in the US, that's not the case. you know it's not possible for students to transition after graduation. Like, it's a big deal, and it may take for years. And he was also talking about working as an international student. Like, there are just so many other benefits that students may have when studying in Finland or when studying in Europe than the US. The next thing is the fees as well. And he was like, even though the fees in Finland, like, they've increased the fees, but not as compared to that like schools in the US. There are those colleges or universities that they may have some, they will say moderate in quote, but 90% of schools and universities in US, it's really like they are really expensive as compared to schools in Europe and Finland. Okay. The other thing is the bank statement. That one I'm aware from day one. I know very well that the banks, they always say the bank statements in the US, it's like that one is like when you hear the amount you should have, you are like, what? you know. But as you all know, in Finland, you are required to show just, I say just, not like minimizing the amount. I say just as compared to the amount you are supposed to show for bank statements in the US. So it's 6,720 euros. So if you are still like thinking of moving as an international student to come study in Europe, then I'll advise you to come study in Europe. But if you are also ready to go through, like people move to the US to study and they're okay, I think each country is unique in its own way. Because there, even though they pay higher fees, even though it may take them long, but they get good jobs, which I think that's a plus as compared to Finland. There is no guarantee to get a better job after graduation. That is working in your field of study. That's what I mean. So I'm not talking about this like to discredit those that are going to the US to study, but this is all information that will help someone who is thinking, where should I go? Should I move to Europe, or should I move to the US, or should I move to Canada? You know, all this different information will help you to make the right decision. But like I always say, you have to also consider yourself, your situation, because a single lady or a single guy from a family where they provide all the money for him or her and may not even care, like, okay, I'm going to the US and that's it. But if you are a family person, you have a spouse, you have children, you should think more about, these things, because it's not just about you alone. It's not as if when you come to this country and you realize that things are not going on well, you can just move to another country. No. With family, it's difficult. But if you are alone and you have the money, then it is possible for you to say, okay, I'm going to go to the US. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Okay, I will study there, pick up a job. So these are some of the things you should also consider. So your background is very important. Where you come from, is it like ready-made money from your parents or from your family? Or it's like your life saving that you want to use to invest in your education and your future. Like, these are things you should take into consideration. I'm just being realistic here, whether we like it or not. You cannot just wake up and carry money and just go anywhere. Money that is not your own, money that is not your family's own, money that was borrowed maybe so that you go and study. And at the end of the day, after studies, you don't have anything to show for it. So in order to make such decision, you really need to think well and consider all these aspects before choosing a country. If you have a family and you are ready to compromise in the sense that you are ready to come here, study something in the IT field, and later on work um as a cleaner, or you change your career and do nursing after your studies and work as a nurse. If you are flexible, that's the word, and you know that you can change jobs, you can change career, then you are good to go. You can move here with your family and you can live here happily. Finland hurts more if you are someone with like a clear vision in code that this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, this is what, and then when you move here, you realize that there's like the possibility of you achieving that it's really low because of um maybe you are unable to study the language, you've been studying the language and you're not getting it because Finnish language is really difficult, or because of different, but if you're someone who is like, okay, well, they don't have job in my field of study, I'm just gonna change and maybe study 2 years Amati or 3 years in Amati, and then I'm gonna pick up a job in my field of studies. Then you live here happily. You'll be okay with your family because it's all about making the money and taking care of them for you. So that's why I always talk about you examine like your own self, your values, your background, like what are some of the things. Are you flexible? Can you change career? Can you do this type of job? Are you for, okay, money is money, I'm just gonna do something so that I'll take care of my family? If you're that kind of person, you can move to Finland. But if you really want a white collar job where you earn a lot of money and like that, you have to go to US or Canada or some other English speaking countries, because that's where you can say, okay, I don't have any language barrier and I'll be able to get a job. Okay. All right. So that's what I have in store for you today. I hope this was helpful to you. Please give this video a thumbs up, if not for anything. This is my last strength that I'm using to give you this information. Please like this video, share with your friends, subscribe, and hope I see you next week stronger by God's grace. Okay, have a blessed week. Bye.